Alrighty, we are now joined by BBE teacher and coach Ben KLAPHAKE.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
Thanks for hopping on. All right, I guess we'll just get right into it with the questions. Did you always know that you wanted to be a teacher?
Definitely not. Growing up, I was not a huge fan of school. I kind of did whatever I could to get out of school, and then once I got older, I kind of started liking it a little bit more. And I don't know, I had a few coaches tell me in high school that, hey, you should maybe consider going to be a teacher. You might like it, take 1 or 2 classes. So I kind of fell in the trap, and I did, and fell in love with it ever from then. So.
Do you have any other hobbies outside of like sports?
Oofda. I'm gonna be honest. I kind of live, die, breathe sports. God, I don't know. I love golfing, but that's a sport.
Like fishing,
hunting.
Oh yeah. See, I consider those sports.
Right.
Some people say they're competitive, and like if you talk to a few guys, especially in BBE, hunting is not just a hobby. It is a full-blown lifestyle. It is a sport.
Especially around here.
Yeah.
Exactly. I never really got into hunting as a kid. I did do quite a bit of fishing. I hate the cold, so I never really got into ice fishing. I'm not one of those dedicated guys who's going to sit on a bucket and out in the middle of the lake with wind blowing. Not a chance. If you give me an ice house,
perfect.
I'll sit in there. But with a TV, maybe a fridge in there, oven.
Yeah.
That's about all I'll do for winter fishing. Otherwise, in the summer, I do quite a bit of fishing in my spare time. So.
And your parents live on a lake or by
Yeah,
a lake?
so I have a bunch of family who lives on a lake. So we just kind of go to their place, and my grandparents do. So it's a nice, relaxing place to get away.
What lake or what? Where?
Jeez, Tal.
I'm just wondering.
Calm down.
No, Little Birch. It's about 10 minutes from where I grew up in Melrose, and we like to go out there and spend 4th of July with the grandparents. And I don't know. I grew up around the lake my whole life, so we were always into wakeboarding, kneeboarding, tubing.
Were you any good at it?
Wakeboarding, I got good. I'm not gonna lie. I finally learned how to do jumps and stuff without just face planting and. But we did a lot of tubing growing up. We had a speedboat, and all of my high school friends, we caused chaos on the lake, and.
Good decisions only, right?
Good decisions only. A few broken noses, and broke a few fingers, but not me, because I was that good talent. No.
Believe it.
But yeah, we spent a lot of time on the lake. I'd say that's probably my hobby, just being around the lake and spending time with family and stuff. But
sure.
All right. What other sports did you play in high school?
So in high school, I played basketball and baseball were my 2 main ones. I played football until 11th grade, and then I stopped. Partially, I wasn't very good at it, and 2, I got hit pretty good, got a pretty good concussion, and doctor's like, maybe it's not the best idea anymore for you. And I was like, well, I'm not that good anyway, so I'm not going to complain with not doing it.
The concussion explains a lot now.
It does.
It really
does. No. But yeah, I'd say those. I wish I could have golfed in high school. Here at BB, we're really lucky that we're able to kind of do 2 sports in one season. Because I did grow up loving golf as well, but I was never willing to sacrifice baseball for it.
Exactly.
So I take it baseball is your favorite sport?
Absolutely.
You knew that, Casey.
Yeah.
Well.
Baseball is definitely number 1. Basketball's a second.
Then football?
Then football, yeah. Playing-wise for me. That's kind of the order, but.
How about watching-wise? Like,
are we talking like high school, professional?
Start with high school.
Sure.
High school. I would say my favorite sport in high school to watch, like not be a part of coaching or playing, would definitely be basketball, just because it's so up and down, it's so fast-paced, and in high school there's so many different offenses that people run. It's very different every game. And then second, I'd say probably football and baseball are kind of tied, just because I've grown up coaching baseball my entire life or playing in a game, so very rarely do I go to a game and not be a part of it in some way or another. But I'd probably say baseball still, just because I love a good pitcher's duel. Not a huge fan of the 10-9 games. 1-0 game, that gets my attention really quick. So.
How about professionally? What do you like to watch?
Professionally, football,
Oh, yeah.
definitely.
Me too.
Part of the reason is I'm a huge fantasy football guy,
Yeah.
and you can follow even those games where the two teams are like 1-15 or what.
Right.
Now they play more games, but
Yep.
those games you're still invested because of fantasy football.
Exactly.
And there's always so much energy, and they play so hard.
Yeah, they do.
It is insane how good of athletes they are out on the field, but
Freaks of nature.
they are. And I remember growing up as a kid. This was like a special occasion. You know, as a kid, when you're growing up, you kind of have like a bedtime. Like parents say you got to be in bed by 8:30 or 9 or whatever the time was.
Yeah.
It was a really special occasion on Monday nights. My dad and I would stay up, and at halftime of the Monday night football game, they'd have a series called Jacked Up.
Okay.
And I don't know if you guys might be too young. I'm probably
No.
dating myself.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, you are.
jeez, I'm getting old. But this Jacked Up series, they take the top 10 hits from the weekend.
Okay.
And that's when in the NFL there was no like headhunting
Defenseless, yeah.
rules, defenseless receivers.
Yep.
It was full blown like crushing people with like Ray Lewis and Ed
Yep.
Reed and all of them. They were just wild, and you would see these hits, and every time or Chris Berman, I think it's Chris Berman's
Yep.
his name,
Yep.
would just be yelling, freaking out on every hit, and these guys are
Oh,
just
yeah.
flailing around. It's like, oh my god, the game is so
Fun to
different
watch.
now.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, that's definitely one sport that I have really fond memories watching.
Right.
So
What is your favorite sport to coach?
baseball, 100%.
Yep.
Part of the reason I like coaching baseball so much, a lot of people think it's a slow game and it's a boring game, but there's so many things that happen between every pitch. A lot of people just think, oh, pitcher
Right.
throws the ball,
Yep.
guys just stand and wait. When every pitch, there's something new happening.
Mm-hmm.
And baseball shows your preparation.
Right.
Like you have football and basketball where you prepare all week for games and you do all these things, and then in a game you have adjustments.
Right.
Whereas in baseball, most times like you have a strategy in place, and the preparation that you put in during that week will come out in that game. Yes, you do make adjustments in the game. You have
Yep.
like pitching changes. You maybe switch up signs, or you switch up a first and third call or something, or a shift. But baseball is, in my opinion, the true showing of what you show in practice.
Right.
Like if you are a great fielding team in practice, that's going to come up on the baseball field. Or if you're a poor fielding team, that's going to show up like we
Right.
always
Oh,
talk
yeah.
about before games with infield, outfield, the importance of infield, outfield. It
Right.
sets a tone.
Yep.
So, yeah, I would say baseball is 100% my favorite to coach. Do I like coaching football and basketball? Absolutely.
Right.
I love coaching in general. But if I had to pick one, I would 100% say baseball.
For sure. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now we're halfway through our season. What do you think of the baseball team?
I think we have a lot of talent. I really do. As you guys know, we play an extremely tough schedule. We're the only single A team in our conference. And we have a lot of talent in our conference, as we've seen so far. Every game's been competitive. There's a lot of energy. There's a lot of rivalries. And just you don't really have a game off.
No.
Like you look at our schedule top to bottom, and it's like, gosh, there's no freebie. There's no
Right.
game where it's like, hey, maybe if we just take the foot off the gas, give some guys a break
Right.
kind of thing. We don't have that,
Yep.
Yeah.
which is exciting because it prepares us so well for playoffs. Like last year we came into playoffs we were a 3 seed, but we were under 500 going in.
Right.
But our QRF was good because we were battle
Yep.
tested.
Mm-hmm.
And there is really, like I said, our conference top to bottom is
tough.
very good. It's tough. But I think we're on the right track. I do. We're kind of in a little bit of a rough patch right now. But I'm excited to see what we turn this into. Like
Right.
we've kind of been streaky this year.
Mm-hmm.
We started off 2-0, and then what did we lose? Like, was it 4 in a row or
Something like
something,
that,
right? And then we came back and we won a few in a row, and then we played some tough games in ACGC. I'm excited to see where kind of that middle ground, where we fall.
Right.
And I'm excited because I really think that we're going to peak at the right time. I do. Our guys have great attitudes. They have great mindsets. They understand the process. They put in the work every day. They seem like they enjoy baseball. And it seems like 1 through, 20 guys on our roster right now. Everyone's kind of buying in now.
Right.
Which is tough, especially when we have so much talent on our team. Seeing the guys in the dugout, they're loud.
Oh, yeah.
They're cheering for our guy. They're cheering for the guys out on the field. They're doing those little things. They're warming up the catcher. They're doing things that winning teams do, which gives me a lot of optimism for where we're going to be at. So, how about you guys? What do you guys think, since all 3 of you are members of the baseball team?
I like our team right now.
I do. I mean, I'm having a lot of fun. I think we're headed in the right direction as of right now. But that's what makes baseball so interesting, in my opinion. I mean, anyone can win any game. And I mean, baseball's sort of like a depth game. Whoever's got guys that show up at the right time and show up when they're needed. But I mean, whatever team shows up can win any game in baseball.
Absolutely. Like, you look at even the major leagues last year, you have teams like the Dodgers who are winning 100+ games. And then who's the team in the end? The Braves, who just barely squeak in the playoffs.
Whoever gets hot.
Exactly. That's the beauty of baseball. That's part of the reason I like it so much, because like, you look at other sports, for example, basketball. Basketball, if you have a really good record throughout the regular season, there's a good chance that it's going to carry over in the playoffs because you've established yourself as one of the best teams.
Right.
Whereas in baseball, all it takes is one bad day.
Yep.
Maybe your starting pitcher struggles throwing strikes. Maybe a few of your hitters hit a cold spell, or your infielder's not having a good day and the field's kind of crappy, and you get a bad hop, and then it kind of snowballs. Like, anyone can beat anyone on any day, which makes it so much fun. And it just adds to the pressure because you're like, gosh, we're one play away from possibly not being here, even if maybe we have our ace and they have our ace. Like, if one team has a shutdown pitcher, that can change a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it can. Yeah, I mean, you said battle tested, and then you come into our section, and our section ain't easy.
Oh my gosh, I
It
looked
ain't
at the rankings when they dropped. I want to say last Friday, and gosh, our regular season prepares us so well. I know a lot of people like to say this about their own areas. I strongly believe our section is one of the top ones.
Yep.
The reason I say that is, as you guys have probably saw, I mean, we've got New York Mills at number 2, phenomenal baseball team. We've got KMS at number 3, unbelievable baseball team. We've got Ashby at number 5, fantastic baseball team. We got Upsala at number 10, another unbelievable baseball team. And then there's so many other teams in our section who are doing really well, and they're just not in the rankings right now because they haven't released a QRF or whatever. So it's going to be interesting to see at the end of the year where everyone pans or ends up and kind of turns out to be, because I think we're probably going to see another team sneak in, probably somewhere around that top 10, just because there's so much talent, so much competition. But I'd rather not have it any other way.
No.
I like this. It makes it that much more fun.
Exactly.
You go into every
100%.
section game, and it is a battle, just like last year. Every section game was a battle. I'm hoping it's not 105 degrees like last year, but.
So where did you go to college?
So I went to college at St. John's University, not too far down the road, but I don't know, 35, 40 minutes from here. So
Perfect.
one of the best decisions I personally can say that I've ever made.
Did you always want to go to St. John's?
I did not. I grew up, when I was growing up in Melrose, I had a few relatives who went to St. John's or St. Ben's. I said, I'm never going there. It's all preppy kids. And I was like, there's no way. And then I did a campus visit, and I met with some people, and I just kind of fell in love with the place. And I have some really good friends from high school, and I have some really good friends from college too. And I look back on my experiences there, and I had nothing but good things to say, and a lot of memories were made, which is exciting because now teaching older kids, I get to see you guys kind of go through this same process. A little bit different, obviously, than me, but just seeing you guys kind of decide what your future is going to hold and where you're going to take it and where you're going to run with it. So I'm going to give you guys some advice. Enjoy the process. It can seem super stressful trying to figure out a place to go. And if you don't go to college, it's great too.
Yep.
But trying to figure out that next step after high school, don't stress. I know it can feel stressful, but enjoy it because it's a really cool experience that you're going to look very fondly on in the future.
Mm-hmm. For sure. What's your favorite thing about being a coach?
Whew, that's a tough one. There's a lot. I would say my number one thing above everything else for being a coach, what I like the most, is getting to coach you guys, like young men, being that I coach all boys sports right now. Seeing that a lot of people think coaches get into coaching for the wins and the losses, which I can honestly say is the farthest from the truth. I got into coaching because I loved helping out the future generation. Sports gave so much to me in my life that I just kind of want to help that experience affect the future kids. And then seeing how people grow from sports. Sports is so much about life lessons. It is so much about the friendships you make in sports will stick with you forever. They're the strongest bonds you can create.
Yeah, for surely.
And just seeing people improve. Oh my gosh. Anyone can coach a team who's got unbelievable talent, top to bottom. But seeing kids get better from day one to the last day of practice or the last game or whatever, and seeing that so-called light bulb go off with people and they kind of discover who themselves they are, is one of the coolest experiences as a coach. And it's kind of that thing where it always sucks you back in. Like you might feel burned out at times, but there's always something where it just pulls you back in and you're like, gosh, this is why I do this.
Sure.
Who was your mentor growing up?
Ooh, my mentor. I had a few. I would say number one was definitely my dad. My dad was kind of the coach who, as a kid, he coached my basketball, my baseball, and oh my gosh, back then I despised him. He coached so hard. And as a kid, you don't understand. You're like, gosh, my dad's just picking on me. Why isn't he picking on the other kids? Why is he so hard? But then you come to realize the older you get that they do it for a reason. And the lessons that I learned from my dad in coaching and how to handle different behaviors and how to handle the ups and downs of not just basketball but life itself was something that in my coaching life really helped me. And I had a few high school coaches along the way. My basketball coach, Coach Dusha, in practice, I was a highly competitive person, and sometimes we didn't always see eye to eye. But he was an unbelievable coach. He's a guy who I take a lot from. I use a lot of his strategies that he uses, and I learned a great deal from him. And he's still somebody who's there if I need help or he'll reach out or whatever. But I would say in my teaching life, one of my mentors is probably my high school social studies teacher, which, he's a social studies teacher, but he was just a guy where he was always willing to chit-chat. He was always willing to talk. He was there for you. If you ever needed to talk, he was a phenomenal teacher. But yeah, I'm probably missing some that I can't think of off the top of my head right now, but I've been blessed and I've been very lucky to have the people I've had in my life. And I should say this, even working here at BBE, I've worked under some amazing people. I've worked under Chris Anderson, Chris Masho, Pat Elias. Like, I've learned so much from all of them that I apply to my coaching and my life strategy and how I attack life, that I can't be more thankful for everything that they've kind of helped me and taken me under their wings. So.
For sure.
What would you tell the younger kids that look up to you?
Keep your head up. Even no matter what's going on in life, always attack it with a positive mindset. There's just, even when stuff is going negative, if you have a positive mindset, most times it'll turn around pretty quick. It will. And just put whatever you're doing, put 100% effort in.
Right.
Never go 50%. You go 50%, only expect 50% results.
Exactly.
You go 100% in everything, people notice. You'll stand out compared to others. You'll be that guy. And just be involved. Be involved with your community, your friends, your family, and just kind of having balance. Life is about balance, and it's easy to get caught up in one thing.
Yep.
Like, that's one thing that I've learned the most from coaching is that it can get addicting where you always want to work.
Yep.
Or you always want to come home.
Yep.
Like, after a basketball game, you want to come home, immediately sit down. I got to watch film. I got to get ready for the next game. But there's a balance. Maybe go home and sit down with your family.
Yep.
Sit down and eat dinner, or just mentally reset.
Right.
Don't get so caught up in one thing. It's important because the people around you are your supporting cast.
For sure.
That if you get so obsessed with one thing, then you kind of miss out on them. So,
Yeah. So obviously we made it to state for football and basketball. What would it mean to you to make it for baseball to be the third sport this year to go to state?
Gosh, that'd be so cool.
It would be.
That would be sweet. This has been quite the year for BB Sports.
Oh,
What
yeah.
have we had? We've had football, boys basketball, wrestling. Girls basketball came up just short. They had a phenomenal season. Same with volleyball, just
Volleyball
short.
came
But
up just short.
they had unbelievable seasons as
Yep.
well. But it would be it'd be cool for me as a coach, but I think it'd be cooler to see
Right.
you guys and seeing you guys in that position.
Right.
And it shows. It shows all the hard work that you guys have put in from when you were just picking up a baseball bat, or you were just throwing a football, or shooting a
Right.
basketball, or hopping on the wrestling mat for the first time. And it shows all that hard work that it has led up to this.
Yep.
So seeing that kind of come to fruition, come to a total at the end would be
Right.
so cool. And I honestly don't even know how I would react. Like, don't get me wrong, I'd be beyond excited.
Yeah.
But it'd just be like, I don't think it hit me right away.
No.
Like, kind of when we made it for football,
Yep.
we played that game. We had the week leading up to it.
Yep.
And then it didn't hit me for like 2 weeks. It's like, I was sitting at home, I was like, oh my gosh. We were just in the state tournament for football.
Yeah, that's insane.
And then basketball, it's like, I think basketball hit me after we lost that state championship game.
Yep.
We played the whole state tournament. We played amazing. We had great time at the hotel. We went to Mall America. It was a super fun experience. Seeing you guys practicing at St. John's Bethel, and then we were playing at Williams. It was so cool.
That was fun.
And you get kind of like caught up in the
Right. Oh,
moment,
yeah.
and you're just focused. All right, next game, business, next game.
Right.
And then when we lost, and we sat in the hallway while the players were in the locker room, kind of with each other, and they finished the media, and us coaches were just sitting out in the hallway, and I was like, oh my, that really just happened. Like,
Yep.
we just got second in the state basketball tournament.
Yep.
Like, you're sad at the time because you're
I
like,
know.
gosh, we were so close.
Mm-hmm.
But then you're like, wow,
Right.
what an experience.
Oh, yeah.
Would it be great to experience that all over again? 10 out of 10 times.
Yep.
But you just never know.
Never
Yeah.
know.
You never know with life. Like,
Yep.
we could be back there next year. We could never,
Never be
you
back.
could never be back. You just, so, I don't know.
I know.
Baseball would be sweet.
Yeah,
It
it'd
would
a
be
lot of
sweet.
fun.
That'd
Gosh.
be so much fun.
It'd be a lot of fun.
Nice weather outside, getting to play in the summer.
That'd be nice.
Oh, hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Keep putting in that work.
Yeah.
It's achievable.
Oh, yeah.
Would you ever want to coach at a higher level?
I don't know. It's hard for me to say because, like, right now I'm still an assistant coach at the high school level. So it'd be like, that's like totally skipping a whole
Right.
Yeah.
step, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm extremely happy with where I'm at the high school level right now. I love teaching. I love working with high school kids.
Right.
I like working with middle school kids. Like, I like this age group. And I like the feel of high school sports. College is a whole different animal.
Oh, yeah.
You've got to do recruiting, and you've got to balance classes and all of these things that are extremely difficult. College coaches work year-round. And not that high school coaches don't, because they do. But high school, just for me, I love that, especially in a small town like here, like the whole town comes together for
Right.
sporting events.
Yeah.
You have Friday night football game. You have
Everyone's
Friday
there.
night basketball game. We had a baseball game last night on a Tuesday night, and we had a great crowd. And we'll
Yeah.
probably have a great crowd this weekend. And
Mm-hmm.
just that kind of hometown connection where everyone in the town, hey, we
Yeah.
got nothing else going on. Let's
Right.
go watch this sporting event.
Mm-hmm.
Is such a cool thing to see and have the community have your back.
Yep.
It's
Is-
awesome.
It is.
Yeah,
And
it's
we,
really
are,
awesome.
especially here, we are very spoiled.
Mm-hmm.
Our fans at BB are amazing.
Yeah.
They support no matter what. Through thick or thin, they are always there for us. So it'd definitely be hard not to
Right.
be a part of that high school atmosphere.
For sure.
Which is why, would I ever eliminate a future opportunity? No. But I foresee myself kind of hanging out in the high school ranks
Right,
in the
for
future
sure.
just because of all those factors. It's just so
Yeah.
much fun.
For sure.
Well, I don't think we have any more questions.
Oh, that wraps up the questions.
Yeah. Well, I think we're running short on time, but thank you very much for joining
Yep.
us.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank
It
you
was a
guys
lot of
for
fun.
having
It was
me.
fun.
It was a lot of fun.
Thank you.
Yep.
Alrighty.
See you
Yep.
guys next time.
Yep. We'll see ya.
Yes, sir. Go Jags.